was always part of the deal. We heard from Benjamin Netanyahu that it was not going to be part of the deal, but that was plainly not right. In fact, I'm not even sure why he put his head in that noose, because it's obvious that, he is selling this as peace for peace, not land for peace, as in the version that we had with the Palestinians, but it's plainly also arms for peace. This was part of the deal. It's something that the Emirates, that the UAE has wanted for a long time. It has been opposed by Israel, but now that they're in the tent, now that there is this relationship, then there's no reason for the United States not to consider selling these planes to the UAE, and that's what they're going to do. It still has to go through Congress, but we've heard from the United States President twice now that he's happy to do it, and that they're going to give Israel some edge, sell them more equipment, better for the US economy, but there's going to be an edge for Israel, but it's not going to mean that there won't be a sale of F-35s to the UAE.
Ulrike Calderman.
Also, watching Trump staging all these ceremony with the Arab states and Israel, it was so clear that he just wanted to position himself as a peacemaker and replay the famous historical handshake between Arafat and Rabin 25 years ago. And he wants to be this historical person, the peace broker. But I think it's more or less a part of his election campaign. And it's not very serious, and it also he wants to make not to speak about anymore about the peace plan that his son-in-law Kushner was trying to impose in the beginning of the year, and which was rejected immediately by the Palestinians. And now the result is that the Palestinians are totally sidelined, and no one is talking anymore about the Palestinian-Israeli issue, and that will remain a problem.
And while the Trump administration talks of F-35s, the Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis has announced the purchase of a squadron of 18 Rafale fighter jets from France, with the simultaneous replacement of the older Mirage jets that were also French. It's all happening in the midst of Mediterranean tensions that continue to pit those countries against Turkey. Among those unhappy with that decision, by the way, the French Air Force, who, according to Le Monde, have to now wait with orders pulled to satisfy instead of the Greeks. Stacey Maestri, several questions here. Again, selling, warplanes are so expensive. Selling warplanes, and especially to Greece, which is just coming out of the economic doldrums that we all know about.
Well, yeah, and clearly this is, part of Macron's effort to stand in support of the Greek government, especially as they've recently had this sort of confrontation with Turkey. Macron sent the French Navy into the region. That was sort of the first sign of support. And now this sale of the Rafale jets. Keep in mind, there's some of them are new, the latest Rafales, and then others are older generations of the planes. But nevertheless, it's a significant order.
And they say,
I think it's mostly symbolic, because announcing it now means that there will be a long, long time before they're actually paying for it and getting delivered. France was trying to sell Rafales for ages, and it took a long time before they found the first client, and then it takes a long time before they finally deliver the first plane. So I think it was more a symbolic act than anything else.